and you are not for everybody, okay? So you don't want to be for everybody, because when you're talking, you want to be talking to a specific person. And if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody. Putting a personal brand and a legacy that I can have for generations and generations and generations, my impact continue to carry on, that's what I'm in it for. The money is a byproduct of that. God gave me to play, and I gotta run it. It's people that are trying to siphon your energy. That's why it's so important to stay away from low vibrational energy. When you avoid low vibrational spaces, you avoid low vibrational environments, you avoid people and places that you know have a survival scarcity mindset, because that breeds envy, hate, and jealousy. That voice God placed in your heart and your head telling you, go, do it. You have a destiny and a divine purpose and mission. The only thing that the devil can do is delay. You have to go out and get it. You have to. It's a partnership between you and God. Ye are gods. It literally says it. Ye are gods. Allow them to make you believe that you can't, so you don't. Okay? And this year, I want you to. I want you to. I want you to. I want you to. Stay consistent. Keep your foot on their necks. Don't let up, okay? Okay? It's your year.
This day that God has given me, I'm not gonna waste this joy deep down inside me. I'm not gonna shake. Been stressed for so long.
Hey y'all, I'm back again with another video. Excuse my voice and all that. I'm a little bit under the weather. But today is gonna really be two things. Let me catch my breath, y'all. I had to just run out to my car because I'm really determined to get this video done. So basically, this video is gonna be like life update and like a pep talk for going into 2026. Because if y'all have not noticed, everything is changing. Like, everything is becoming so digital. If you have not built a personal brand or have not started to, I want to tell you right now, you are missing out on where life is going right now. Like, the only way that you are going to be able to make some money is if you get people to know, like, and trust you. So that is why you always want to build a personal brand, because when you build a personal brand, you can pretty much monetize off of anything, because people trust you. People trust your judgment. But the other thing about that is you want to have integrity. So a lot of these people and influencers and stuff that y'all see that are falling, it's because they did not build their brand on integrity, truth, authenticity. You know, you cannot build it on like trends and what's popular and fast money. Like, it really takes some time to get people to trust you. Like, think about your personal relationships. How long did it take for you to start trusting people, especially if you're not like a perfect soul? Like, if you've never had betrayal, if you've never had like somebody backstab you, like if you're just have a fully open heart, you understand? And even though I've been through stuff, I do try to open my heart back up, but there's always going to be that lingering of, trust in the back of your mind. So you have to think about all of your clients in that way, or future clients in that light as well, because people already are scorned and scarred from all of these people like selling courses, selling things that don't really help people just putting things out in order to make money instead of putting things out to help people. So going into 2026, I really think that authenticity is going to trump all. People are looking for real, especially because we're in the age of AI too. So not only do you have fake personas, facades, and personalities, but now you also have to compete with actual fake people like AI, right? And I'm somebody that has real enlightenment, I'm really connected to God, and my authenticity is not threatened, because I know who I am, and I know what it takes to be me. And as long as you understand that, you can take those things, and those are the same reasons why people will like you. People will want to get to know you more. People will be curious about you. And that is why it's so important to, once you get people to pay attention to you, once you start to expand and get more visibility, you want to make sure that you're kicking, real knowledge, that you're really giving people, you want to make sure that you're really giving people real advice, real information, real knowledge. Don't hold back. You can't be stingy when it comes to helping people, because all of that, like compounded, are going to be your wins. All of those things are going to be your wins, right? So not only did I want to talk about that, building a personal brand, getting you a product, because once you build a personal brand, you can not only make money off of your intellectual property, which are things that you know, things that you've learned, and things that other people will want to learn from you. So for example, a lot of people ask me, how were you able to build your platform? How were you able to, start your businesses? How did you set up your LLC? How were you able to fix your credit? So these are all things that I monetized off of, because I learned how to do those things for myself. So then I took that knowledge, put it into a product, and I gave back to the people. The problem with a lot of people is they have no idea what they're selling. Like when you're buying those courses that somebody else made, it's very easy, and it is a way to make money. I don't want to talk down on anything, but I just really believe that if you take your own intellectual property and put it into a package, it will automatically set you apart, and it will automatically align with the people who automatically align with you. So it'll make it a lot easier. You don't have to be out here sitting on live all day to sell your products. That's just not what I want to do, and those are the things I think about in business now, like things that I didn't think about in the beginning, like, setting the foundation. So for example, I don't want to be the type that has to, I will get on live, of course, because that is part of the hustle. That is part of the grind. That is part of entrepreneurship. But I don't want my entire business model to be based on whether or not I go live. I already know that that is not something that I desire to do, as an end goal. So when I start my businesses, I always start with the end in mind. Right? So when building your personal brand, what kind of personal brand? Like, what do you want it to look like? Do you want to be more engaged? There's a lot of people that post every day, post everything, even the, little details, every little detail about your life. Are you going to be a more informational type of personal brand where all you kick is knowledge? Are you going to be a spiritual entrepreneur where you talk about the spiritual realm, the laws of the universe, etc.? You're going to be a mix of all of them. It's all about you and what you feel you can do authentically without having too much hustle and bustle. And those are the mistakes that I made in the beginning. So going into 2026, I just want to make sure you know that the more authentic and aligned you are when it comes to creating and establishing your personal brand and your product-based brand, you want to kind of incorporate yourself into those things so that it can be 100. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to market when you are the product. Who you are authentically is the product. You don't have to really do too much pitching, because the people that naturally align with that will automatically come to you. And that is the other thing I've learned. All clients are not good clients. You have to be very selective, and you have to put yourself out there, because some people are not going to like you, and that is 100% okay. But you want to make sure that you have true stands, that when stuff goes wrong, or because this is entrepreneurship, some things are inevitable, right? So when the stuff goes wrong, you really want to have people that stick beside you. Think about people like Jada Cheese. She is always under fire, but yet she always sells out. You know why? Because she built a true fan base. People really know, like, and trust her, and nothing that anybody says can make her true stance not stand with her. And that is the kind of brand, personal brand, that you should be wanting to build. So the more authentic you are, the more aligned you'll become. And I really want you to understand that, because I think people are out here giving out a lot of bad tips, saying do this and do that. Yes, be yourself, but be the best version of yourself. I'm not saying if you're like a, shitty person that you should be shitty. No. What I'm saying is if you're saying you're shitty because you're aggressive, I don't think being aggressive means you're shitty. But take that aggression and embrace it so that you can show people this is the type of healer I am. This is the type of mentor I am. This is the type of coach that I am. And those that align with that will, there's always somebody there for everybody. Trust me. And you are not for everybody, okay? So you don't want to be for everybody because when you're talking, you want to be talking to a specific person. And if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody and you're not getting sales and you're not building a brand. That, to me, building a personal brand and a legacy that I can have for generations and generations and generations, my impact continue to carry on. That's what I'm in it for. The money is a byproduct of that. The money is a byproduct of my alignment, my God-given mission and purpose. God gave me to play and I got to run it. You understand what I'm saying? So I just really want people to push for more alignment and in 2026. And I think that's what people mean when they say soft life, but they don't understand. Aligned action will get you farther. Aligned action will get you further than the hustle and bustle that somebody else is telling you. You have to work in your business enough to understand what gives you the most output. So what input gives you the best outcome, right? Because it's not going to be the same for anybody. Some people can sit on live all day and they don't feel depleted. And they do make those sales. But that is their strategy. That is their business model. You want to create your own business model. You using knowledge from people who already have business models, but you don't want to just trust somebody what worked for somebody else without knowing what works for you. And if you have to try a few things in order to understand what works for you, do that. But don't set anything in stone without really knowing what works for you and the people that you're speaking to, right? So going into 2026, not only do I want you to make sure you're establishing a personal brand, you're posting, regardless. If you don't know anything, post anyway. Get on YouTube. Try to figure some things out. I also would like for you in 2026 to try to find you a mentor. And even if you can't pay for a mentor, I think you should at least try to audit your social media. So, for example, a lot of the things that come to me come from the inspiration I see daily. So if I'm opening my phone and if I'm opening my apps, my social media apps, and all I'm seeing is nonsense, entertainment, then I might not feel as inspired as if I open up the apps and I'm starting to see people on what I'm on and I'm seeing how they're moving forward. It's not going to do anything but light the fire under my behind and say, all right, let me get the business. Let me implement these strategies. Oh, I see how she did that. How can I take that and spin it and make it work for me and who I'm speaking to, right? Because I think also the era of copycat is over. I think we need to end that. It was okay. I don't think it was ever okay to completely copy somebody from scratch. But again, you can take somebody and use them as inspiration. But I think right now, you are really going to have to be very creative and authentic in order to outlast what is coming, especially with AI. Because people can just literally type prompts in now and become whoever they want to be. So you want to make sure that what sets anybody apart is always going to be their individuality. God created you to be this person. These are the attributes, characteristics, and, strengths that you have. You individually. And those are going to be your superpowers in this new season that we're going in. And that's why it's so important to not sabotage yourself, right? And it's so important to believe in yourself, to have confidence, to know who you are so that you can't be swayed any which way, because that is what's going to stand out to people. That is what's going to make you the sore thumb. Embrace those things about yourself. Now, if they're negative attributes and they're things that you feel like you need to fix and change, of course, don't want to go around thinking that it's okay to do whatever, act however, etc. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is take those things, and if you can embrace them and use them as strengths, that's what you need to do. Because going into 2026, originality, authenticity, and individuality is going to matter a lot more. People are going to want that human compassion and connection, right? So as you're building your brand, and also if you would like to build a product-based brand, I also think that it is imperative that you try to find a way to align it with your personal brand. You don't want to be all over the place. That's why people keep saying, like, stick to one thing. It's not really about sticking to one thing. It's just about being in alignment, right? So, example, if your personal brand represents women's empowerment and, inspiration, motivation, you might want to have your physical product being like a women's empowerment planner, or maybe a motivational ebook telling your story, something along those lines, or something that makes women feel more confident, more powerful, more beautiful. You want your things to be in alignment. You don't want to be talking about women's empowerment and that be your personal brand, but then you have a shoe cleaning business, even though you can align that with confidence. But I think you know what I'm trying to say. You want it to be as easy as possible, especially because, like, this time we just went through, for a lot of entrepreneurs will tell you, I'm pretty sure a lot of employees and everything had to be let go. And you can see it with the larger corporations right now, with a lot of, like, Starbucks laid off a lot of people. So you can see that AI is really coming in and even taking jobs, like those little jobs that anybody can do, those little jobs that don't require a lot of intellect, AI can do those jobs. So even in your business, you're looking at, when you build your business, less employees. Because the thing about it is, when you're becoming an entrepreneur, you want to be a professional entrepreneur. Too many people have side hustles and are saying that they own businesses. In order to own businesses, you want to be able to scale your business, scale the revenue, have employees, do less of the work, because ultimately you want to be able to have time freedom, location freedom. So that is why most entrepreneurs hire employees. And then the highest form of entrepreneurship is being an investor, where you literally just sit back and collect money. That is what I'm moving towards in entrepreneurship. You create your own dreams and goals, but I believe that true fulfillment, true healing, true happiness comes from time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. So once you are financially free, you can pay for a lot of the things that you think you suffer from. So for example, a lot of people, therapy. If you don't have insurance, you have to pay for therapy. And sometimes even if you do have insurance, you have a copay. So that is what prevents people from going and seeking the mental health help that they need, because they don't have any money. Same goes for being confident. Like, I believe you need money to be confident. People can say what they want, but I feel the most confident when I know that I have a safety net. I know that my bills can be paid. I know that, I can put on nice things to make me look how I feel on the inside, when I'm feeling confident, when I'm feeling bold, when I'm feeling empowered. I even changed up my look this year because I knew where I was going. In order to scale my personal brand, I had to become. So in order for you to become, you do need to invest in yourself. You do need financial stability. You do need money. And I'm not saying that money makes you happy, but money helps you on the way to happiness. Money really helps you on the way to freedom. So if you can't make no money, I don't really think you could ever be mentally, emotionally, spiritually free, because you're always going to be thinking in survival mode. You're always going to be thinking about the lack. You understand? And most lack, no shade, literally comes from not being financially free. So I think it's very important that we find new ways to make money this year. If you've been sitting around knowing you wanted to be a creator or a business owner, etc., now is the time. Like, you are watching the world change right before your eyes. You're seeing people go into panic mode. You're seeing people, the middle class they're trying to erase the middle class altogether. So I think it is time for you to stand in your authenticity. Like, stand up, be who God created you to be. And be confident about it. Like, who actually cares? There is somebody out there for everybody. And the one thing that prevented me a lot in the beginning was because I thought when I became successful or I began to grow or, I became more visible, that everybody would like me. Everybody would resonate with my decisions, my choices, the way I ran my business, the things I had to say, my opinions. They're not. Nobody is ever going to believe in everything you do and say. But you just want to have people on your side that actually resonate with your values and your principles. You want people on your side that actually, understand the ups and downs of this. That's why I say all clients are not good clients, and I'm going in 2026 understanding this. So each year you should be elevating. You should be learning something about your business. If not, you're just literally running the same pattern. So it's time to get to work, right? So as far as a life update, everything has been going smoothly for me. It's just that one other thing I wanted to address is that when you know that God is calling you out of a season, don't hesitate and don't go back. Just like Lot's wife in the Bible, when she went back and then she turned into a pillar of salt. I'm starting to understand that a lot more, because the more healed I became, I started to think that I was only healing because I wasn't being triggered. I had isolated myself. I wasn't going out much. I wasn't doing things. But I started to really understand that that is a part of healing. It doesn't mean that you're not. It just means that you have a different mindset now. Everybody is not going to be able to resonate with that. And also, when you're already chosen, you have that divine mission and purpose, and you wake up to it, you really start to feel everything. You feel energy. You feel, the intentions of other people. And most times when they are in that low vibrational state, nothing about them or their intentions for you are good. It's going to be jealousy, envy, and comparison, because comparison is what causes the most friction, in my opinion, especially because it's like when you start to elevate and you come from, especially when you come from where a lot of other people started and you've outrun them, they start to feel insecure about themselves. But when you're a secure, confident kind of person, you feel inspired by other people like that. So that is like a sure sign that that's a low vibrational environment, and you need to stay out of it, because it will definitely bring you back to a place you've outgrown. And I've learned through my healing that I'm not allowing anybody to tell me who I am. Like, if you're coming at me in a passive aggressive manner, best believe I'm going to be aggressive and direct in that communication. So people will take that and try to weaponize it and make it seem like, she's not healed. But those are just people that are trying to siphon your energy. That's why it's so important to stay away from low vibrational energy. When I go to, new places, new people, things that are in alignment with where I'm actually going, I don't encounter the same issues that I do when I try to go back to places that God has already told me to leave behind and detach from. I'm not turning into a pillar of salt next year. So that is another download that, I really, really wanted to discuss with y'all, because I just wanted to make this video today. God put it on my heart. I know where I'm going. I know what I want out of this life. So I'm being more bold. I'm being more intentional. I'm being more confident. I'm being more, consistent about the things that I want, because I understand that is going to outlast the 99.9%. Most people cannot stay consistent. So when you're going into this year, I want you to keep that in mind. Even if you don't know everything right away, you might not know how to post a perfect video. You might not know exactly what to say right off bat. But the fact that you're waking up every day and you're putting your best foot forward, and you're now positioning yourself in different environments and in alignment with the things that you actually seek, you will start to align. You have no choice but to jump timelines, right? So don't allow anybody to make you feel, less than or weak, or like, oh, you're not really healed. You just avoid conflict. No, you avoid low vibrational spaces. You avoid low vibrational environments. You avoid people and places that you know have a survival scarcity mindset, because that breeds envy, hate, and jealousy, because they are thinking from a like scarce perspective. They're thinking that because you have it, they can't, because it's not enough to go around. As opposed to when you think with an abundant mindset, you think, hey, I know if she has it, oh, and she came where I came from, she ain't no different than me. But it's a lack from within. People don't feel about themselves, so they can't really understand or respect it from you. So understand that. And especially entrepreneurship, because everybody says they want entrepreneurship, but I don't believe that entrepreneurship is for everybody. Somebody has to be a worker. Some people are great employees, and that is okay. But that is for you to really deep dive into your heart and determine, like, are you set out for this entrepreneurial journey? And if you haven't really like started it by now, or it hasn't been on your heart, then I honestly think you should talk to God about it. I don't want to say don't revisit it, because that's not my place. That's between you and God. But the people that know, if you know, you know, you know, you know. You know what you're supposed to be doing. And if you know what you're supposed to be doing and you ain't doing it, you wrong too. You should be jumping in face first right now. Like, I'm telling you, we're going into a whole nother wave, okay? Make sure you stop depending on these programs and these systems. You see how quick people were upset about not being able to feed their kids, but they were making it seem as though it was the government's neglect. You understand what I mean? But really, it's all about you. When you take away having to depend on these systems, all you do is make yourself stronger. It all starts, like I said, with financial stability, financial freedom, understanding, financial literacy, because then you can pretty much pay for healing. You can pay for understanding. You can pay for education. You can pay for skill set. You can pay for knowledge. Just like the people that go to college, they're paying for a better position. You need money. And that's just that on that. They've tried to make you believe that money is not important because, again, there has to be some bosses and there has to be some workers. But if you have that fire inside of you that tells you you're meant for something more, you know you're meant for something more. Stop being afraid of your own potential. Stop being afraid of that light, that mission, and that, that voice God placed in your heart and your head telling you, go, do it. Because the only thing that's holding you back is the devil. And understand, when you have a destiny and a divine purpose and mission, the only thing that the devil can do is delay. He cannot stop your destiny. That's why destiny swapping, people can attempt to steal your essence. People can attempt to steal your aura, but it's already written. God already wrote it. Source already wrote it. You already know your divine mission. When you see those visuals of you in a future setting, in a better situation, it's because that is literally happening in another timeline. That is literally for you. That's why God placed it on your heart. So don't let anybody discourage you from the journey. Don't discourage yourself. Don't sabotage yourself from the journey by overthinking, thinking you don't know this or thinking you got to have that. If God placed it in your heart, it's going to happen for you. It will happen for you. It must happen for you. But more than likely, he's waiting on you to move. You can't sit and think that things are going to come to you, because even, you have to go out and get it. You have to. It's a partnership between you and God. Just like God already placed his creativity, all of that inside of you. Ye are gods. It literally says it. Ye are gods. So why don't you have the ability to build? Why don't you have the ability to create? You do. You just don't believe you do. You allow them to make you believe that you can't. So you don't. Okay? And this year, I want you to. I want you to. I want you to live vicariously through me, but I also want you to get and stand on business, okay? Stay consistent. Keep your foot on their necks. Don't let up, okay? Okay? It's your year. It's your year, okay? So I just wanted to put that out there. Start building this year. Start building. Love yourself immensely. And stand on business when it comes to you. Don't be afraid to be direct in communication. Don't be afraid of confrontation this year. We're going into a year where truth is going to be the new normal. I'm trying to tell you, we are entering age of Aquarius. If you don't know, look it up, research. And we're entering a time of truth. We're entering a time where truth is going to trump all. So you cannot be scared of the truth that God, placed inside of you. It is meant for you. It is meant to be shared. Truth is meant for God planted that truth in you to be able to share. But if you are not bold and courageous, you're not going to be able to share any truth. You're not going to be able to carry out any mission, because best believe demons are going to be coming after you. Best believe that devil is going to be trying to delay. It does not stop with you. Even Jesus was flipping tables, okay? Sometimes you have to be direct. You have to be intentional. You have to be aggressive. You have to show duality and polarity. You have to show that you are willing to stand on what's right, no matter what. So make sure you build that business. Write down right now things that you are going to do in 2026 that you didn't do in 2025. Whether it be to speak your truth, tell that person you've been wanting to tell for years how you really, really feel. Speaking out about something that was done to you that it might be time for you to speak out about, because it'll help you clear out that throat chakra. And that's another thing we're going to talk about more on this channel that I talked about a lot in my book, is your chakras. Because believe it or not, most things are spiritual. A lot of things are, they want you to think they're carnal, but most things are very spiritual. Entrepreneurship, again, is very spiritual. And I can do a whole video on that, but I didn't want to make this video too long. Y'all know I love the yap though. But I'm going to end it with this. Love yourself immensely this year. You know deep down who you are. Don't allow anybody to tell you who you are, because a lot of my internal chaos and conflict came from me allowing people to come in and try to chop down my identity and try to tell me who I am, whether I was healing. Oh, when you're healing, you can't do this. When you're not healing, you can't do. Don't allow anybody to tell you who you are. The more close you get to where you're supposed to be and in alignment and righteousness and doing the right thing, the conviction that God will place on your heart, you'll start to align and you'll start to understand and get those downloads from God and what you need to do. But the main thing is you need to be in alignment and you need to be in motion. Okay? I love you so much. I will see you in the next video. Okay? Have a wonderful, prosperous day. Mwah.